Before we continue working on any more projects, I want to get into the VBA code itself, and I want to cover some key concepts that you're going to use as we get through the rest of these projects here. And as you start to get into your own projects, your own scenarios, whether those are personal or work related or whatever you got. So some key concepts that you'll carry forward throughout your experience inside of Excel VBA. We're going to talk about things such as variables. How we can declare a variable that we can use within our VBA code to help us store information. That's really all a variable is. Some place for us to store information, a single value, multiple values, input from a user, whatever it is, store that inside of our code so that we can later retrieve it and use it in some way. Give you an example. I want to be able to prompt the user. They run my macro. I want to prompt them, and I want to ask them for a numeric value. Maybe I'm going to ask them for a percentage. We're doing commissions based on sales, and I need to know what the current commission rate is for this group of sales. So we prompt the user, we get that information from them, 5%, whatever it is. 5%, we then take that 5%, we store it inside of a variable that we can then use within our code. So that's going to be the first concept that we're going to get into. We're also going to talk about how we can create logical statements inside of our code. We can do things like if statements. If this is true, then I want to have this happen. If this is true, then do this. Create some control structures within our VBA code to help automate the experience and control the flow of how the automation works, all based on a condition. We're going to talk about loops, how we can get blocks of code or entire procedures, large blocks of code, to run multiple times. I need to perform a task over multiple worksheets. Not just one worksheet, but maybe I've got a workbook that has 20 worksheets inside of it, or 100 worksheets in it. And I need to do the exact same steps on every worksheet. Then you create a loop and you tell it, perform these tasks for every worksheet in the workbook. Loop it. Those are going to be three big concepts that you're going to carry forward throughout your career of Excel VBA. And really, in reality, in any Office application that you crack open VBA in, they're going to be the same. The work that you do is different than Excel versus Word, but the concept is the same. A variable is a variable. You create logical statements using if statements. You create loops. There's many different types of loops. We're also going to talk a little bit about the VBA window, just to make sure we're comfortable there, making sure that we can work in the VBA window, get an idea of the surrounding area, and start to create our own VBA code. So get ready for this. We're going to cover these key concepts. We're going to make it kind of quick, but it's all about practice. Practice, practice, practice. And that's what we're going to do as we get into the remaining projects within this course.